Why do you scream at me? Why do you think that it's free? It's not a choice made by me. Once you fall, soon you'll see. When I looked into your eyes, I can see we need to change our lives. Let me in, then we both win. But not knowing that you're killing me. This silence, this building, tearing me fearfully. This silence, this building, tearing me. I'm screaming. These walls have broken memories, but still hold all the history. One brick breaks, one cracked line. Pieces crumble in my mind. But when I looked into your eyes, I can see we need to change our lives. So let me in, then we both win. But not knowing that you're killing me. This silence, this building, tearing me fearfully. This silence, this building, tearing me. I'm screaming. Holes in the walls, screaming at me. Holes in your walls, screaming at me. Holes in my walls, screaming at me. Holes in the walls, screaming at me. This silence, this building, tearing me fearfully. This silence, this building, tearing me. I'm screaming. This silence, this building, tearing me fearfully. This silence, this building, tearing me. I'm screaming. Holes in the walls, screaming at me. Holes in your walls, screaming at me. Holes in my walls, screaming at me. Holes in the walls, screaming at me.
Greetings and happy Boxing Day to y'all. It's Ben here, Canucks with Guitars. We also got Trev. We also got Terry. We've got Q&A. We've got holiday greetings, salutations. We got Tukes. We got everything. How's y'all doing? I don't know why I keep saying y'all. Yeah.
Pretty good. God, I was just laughing there, that scene with you of JHS Pedals.
Oh, Josh?
Yeah, that look you had in that shot. I'm just sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, it's hilarious.
We connect on a level because we're both pedal junkies. It was love.
Charles? My highlight from that little clip show there is the picture with you and Aaron Alvis and JJ in the car, just giving her, but you can see JJ's still concentrating on the road. He's driving. He's
Yes.
rocking, but he's driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was right after we left the airport, actually. It was like, it's on! Selfie! And JJ's like, I just want to get out of the parking lot of the airport and like, get home. Then it's on. It was not on for him. He was on standby for being on. So, who do we have in the chat already? Wow, we got 30 people in here. We got Hip Metalworks. Great hanging out with Hip last night. We got Patrick Traits. We've got Thomas Santiago. He's alive still. Good. Yes. We were just talking about, you guys got all the weather again. 2 feet of snow, all the wind, and then all the ice from all the water. And it looks like a winter wonderland. If Tim Burton designed it or something, it was
Winter hellscape.
T. Ricky, Ryan Hall, We've got Guitar Man 45 in the chat. Ferd Murphle, how's that cornbread coming? I saw cornbread in the chat, and I was like, I have not had
the birthday boy. Happy birthday
haven't had
to
good-
you.
I haven't.
Sorry.
I haven't had good cornbread since 2017. Just saying. And there is Brother Aaron, the birthday boy himself. Yo! Yes. And Brad Guitar Miller, Chief Bottle Washer over at PTM Guitars. Just saying. T. Ricky is here. Ryan Hall. Mesa Guitar Guy. The doctor is in. Paging Dr. Fabric. Paging Dr. Fabric.
Dr. Voodoo Fabric.
Your white courtesy telephone, please.
Yeah. Please grab the closest courtesy phone. Line 4. BC Rich 581's here. Nice. Nice. Cushman NYC.
Cornbread.
Gary Guitar 1952. DW. Sup. Absolute Mayhem. Sup, brother? See ya. Good to see ya. JP Page 2. He's still alive as well. Good to see him. Always like hanging with Jim. Mad Raj was actually early. Yep. Billy Baloney's still alive.
Really?
He had the old Irish goodbye last night. That was okay. I think he was just being polite and didn't want to interrupt the conversation. He says, I'm just going to dip on out. That's fine. That's fine. Brother Tom, first in the chat tonight. He says, hells yes.
Yes. Hey, Tom.
Dan of New Jersey, I see in here. James Hawking.
Nice.
What's going on? What's going on?
Oh, potted chili and cornbread with it.
The last time I had cornbread, Terry, was the last time I had really good chili as well. So, because normally in Canada, it's chili and toast for the most part. You might get fancy having chili and garlic bread, but chili and cornbread?
Bread, yeah.
I was like, as soon as I had that the first time, I was like, where has this been my entire life? They're like, right here in the South. I'm like, apparently. Jesus. Michael Kroos, you made it. Just blame the weather if you're late tonight, folks. That's what I'm saying. And if you're catching on replay, just blame the weather.
If you've been out in the real world, you can blame
everybody watching on replay.
It's crazy out there.
RG.
Brad Guitar Miller says, Ben, please explain Boxing Day. All right. So traditionally,
a lot of people doing this.
Yeah, it's when you're fighting with your siblings over the new toys. No, it is not. Traditionally, to the best of my understanding and recollection, now, when we preface this, we should have a disclaimer like going across the bottom, like our channel supporters. I should have like disclaimer. Based on certain lifestyle choices, certain memories may not be as they actually appear, or something like that. Well, good. We figured as much, Billy. We figured you're an early riser, so all good. So Aaron can correct me if I'm wrong because he looked it up. Of course he did because he's an honorary Canuck. I believe it started in around Victorian times.
1871.
What? Sorry?
December 26th, 1871 was officially first.
Okay, which I believe that's Victorian era. Again, I could be wrong, but whatever. It could be Edwardian, but I think Victorian. So what you would do is when you got new gifts for Christmas, you would box up your old gifts to give to the poor.
Exactly.
Then I remember as a child, that was travel day. You know, generally you had Christmas Day at home. Maybe if mom wasn't doing Christmas dinner, we'd go to a adjacent relative, like we were in Trenton, they were in Belleville, like, you know, nearby, 10-minute drive type thing. No big deal.
Aunts and uncles.
Yeah. Boxing Day, however, you would go out of town to visit relatives. Those are the ones that, a couple hours away we'd visit. Or sometimes we would go on Christmas Day, have Christmas Day or out of town, stay overnight there, and then come back Boxing Day. So there was that going on. Then we had, previous to Canada adopting Black Friday in the last decade, which, whatever, we don't have Black Friday. We don't have Thanksgiving on a Thursday. Boxing Day, that was our Black Friday. Boxing Day sales. Boxing Day. Now it's only the furniture places, basically, still do Boxing Week sales, they call it. But yeah, Boxing Day blowouts. Man, you go hit the malls and just pick up tons of stuff on the cheap and like a lot of clothing and stuff they didn't sell for the holidays. That was the whole point. So they didn't have to ship it back to the warehouses or what have you. And yeah, Boxing Day sales, which was great too, Trev, because there's that brief period where gift cards existed. And we even had them. I remember even when I think I was a teenager, you could get a gift certificate for the mall.
Oh yeah,
gift certificates. Which, whatever they were, there was a Sam the Record Man and an A&A Records in the mall. So I am fucking set. Yeah. And I remember you could get Sam the Record Man money. There was Sam Bucks, which was their gift certificates, basically.
Cheers,
they were great little stocking stuffer. A Finner's worth of Sam dollars. Woo! But yeah, and then whatever, if you got the gift cards and or gift certificates, we got well, before we go to Aunt Beth's, can we pop into the mall so a fella could get the new Motley Crue album to fire into the cassette in the Walkman? So while you all people like I'm having to hang out with cousin Doug and Nana's to think, put on the Walkman and put on girls and and I'll see the lips and all like and and I'm just saying. What's up, Doug? #1 Cornhole podcast on the YouTubes just hit 400 subs. Congratulations.
Right on.
Wow. I actually thought he'd be higher than that by now.
Well, talent is a big factor in that, Terry. No. In all fairness, cornhole players aren't big on the YouTubes for some reason. It's not like guitar players. So they're more on the Facebook.
Sound out there? Did A&B Sound ever get to the East Coast? Because that was a big thing with the days of my youth. I remember the A&B Sound Boxing Day sale, because they did hi-fi, car audio, and had CD albums and cassette. And their Boxing Day sale, I mean, you could go...
They must have been regional, just a Western thing.
Yeah.
All the demo stuff would go on sale, all the last year item stuff they wanted to clear out. Yeah, it was... People would line up like ridiculous lineups to try and get in there. Days early to wait and be the first guy in the door to get that.
I remember some of that stuff happening at like Future Shops / Best Buys.
Actually, that's funny. That's what I was thinking too. Is
the door crasher stuff for that, because they would again be blowing out TVs or DVD players or what have you at the time.
Yeah, regular $129. Now get it for $99.
Ooh, do I get the Blu-ray or HD DVD? I don't know. Doesn't matter. You can download or stream it all within a few years.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Betamax versus VHS thing all over again.
There you go. Patrick comments, A&B Sound in Victoria was the biggest music store around. Nice.
Yeah.
What's up, Ryan? Ryan's back. Best Buy on Boxing Day sales. Epic. See? Mayhem knows.
Yep.
So, that's the brief history of Boxing Day. Started out as a charitable thing, and then corporate took over. But it was also, and we should say, it is also, at least in Ontario, Trev, it's also a statutory holiday, so it's paid day off.
See, technically it's not here, but I get it anyway. Most places here observe it anyway. So we get the extra day because we get...
well, it was great. I volunteered when I was working at call center. I volunteered to work it 1 year because, one, nobody wanted to work it, and two, I was like, okay, because the way it works in Ontario is either way you're getting the day's pay because it's a statutory holiday, and if you worked it, you got time and a half. So it's basically double time and a half. And at that time, I was working doing tech support for Dell computers, so it was literally turn it on and off again. Or an occasional no-post situation. So it's like, okay, something came loose during shipping. Just reseat all the ribbon cables in it, fire it up. Oh, look, there it goes. And even then, halftime, though, that was working the Christmas Eve because it was nothing but frantic dads. Because it was the early 2000s. I got the kids. Still getting the kids a new desktop computer. And okay, let's fire it up, see what happens.
Cheers, Ryan Hall.
Yeah. And then it was funny too, Trout, because it depending on who I got. If I got someone like you on the phone and say you got your daughter a laptop, screen's flickering. I know it's the ribbon cable. I'm like, how comfortable are you in popping off a bezel, possibly removing the keyboard that involves 2 Phillips screws? I'll walk you all through it, and you're like, all right, if it's the difference of it working or not. It's like, believe me, we can be in and out in 10 minutes tops.
All you need is that little set of screwdrivers, that little micro drivers.
Oh, you didn't even need that. It was just you had the standard 3 Phillips set. The smallest Phillips was the one you need because it was 2 tabs that mounted the whole keyboard. So, yeah. They were quite serviceable. I will say those computers were quite serviceable because they offered parts-only warranties after the first year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, yeah, made some large coin. And then what am I doing? I'm surfing eBay the whole time, spending the money I'm making during the holidays. What's up, Milt? Oh, safe travels, buddy. I hope you don't have to go too far, because...
I've heard that's pretty rough right now.
Well, towards his neck of the woods, you figure what? Chatham, Kent region I was watching, they had it.
Yeah.
I think that was where they had the 100 car pileup.
Oh, God.
That was not good. Yeah. Well, the problem, it's like, for anyone that hasn't driven, it's kind of prairie-esque. Like, I've never driven on the prairies, Trev, but you can drive an hour there and not turn, almost. It is a very, it's only about an hour, but for now, it's a very, obviously it was a basin at one time, underwater, and because it's just fields and wind farms on both sides. It's saying you just drive. That's pretty much it to Chatham. 402 as well, yeah, Doug. True.
John Deshane's heading to Boxing Day Fondue Fest.
See, well, this is what I'm saying, Trev. The cycle of life continues. John, safe travels. Yeah, I was commenting, family travel on Boxing Day to, nothing wrong with that. Family and or friends. Yeah, those are the friends, your parents that you call them aunt and uncle even though they're not, basically. Those were involved in a lot of holiday travels. Like my parents' best friends, my godfather, for years. I still call him Uncle Don, just to humor him. He's like, dude, you're pushing 50. Stop it. No, I will never. So, yeah. No, just to Chatham and back. Roads are good. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because basically it was Chatham to London that was really screwed. So he's like, I'll get to the carnage and then turn around. Milt's a pretty good driver.
All the sidewalks here today were not cleared. That was real fun trekking through that.
Yeah. Milt and I have done a few road trips and such, so.
So, I guess the question is, did anyone get any boxing deals today?
I didn't leave the house, so no. I did not.
Me neither,
I was tempted to browse the Jungle website because they sent an email. They're like, we got some Boxing Day sales on. I was like, so?
Yeah.
Driving to Quebec soon, roads are all fine and weather is good, Michael Crow says. Okay.
Wear a mask.
I did read my comment. What?
There's
okay.
a lot of people in
Doug read
Quebec
his own comment?
that are sick.
Oh, okay. Doug got double time for 3 hours today and only took me an hour to do it.
Oh. I wondered what he was meaning by that.
That sounds... See, that would be what they call, Terry, a union job. Or actually... No, actually, in Ontario, Trav. So the way it works, labor law is, if you work, say, 2 hours into a shift, right? And you say to your boss, hey, can I go home? And he's like, dude, it's dead around here. Go. Right? You get paid for 2 hours. However, if you work 2 hours and your boss comes to you and says, hey, do you want to knock the rest of the day off? You get paid for 3 hours. Because it's minimum 3 hours. Yeah.
LRM Guitars Boxing Day equals last year's products nobody wanted. And actually, John Deshane got something today.
I see that. He got an ESH switcher from along the Equator to Quebec. I wonder if he'd be programmed in French.
Wouldn't that be funny if everything was in French? Yeah.
Better find that
Where's
reset.
the 2 English button?
How do I do a
Damn
factory
it.
reset? Damn it, reset the French again! What the hell?
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Let's see. Mesa Guitar Guy says, or asks, so what would happen if you plug a reverse delay pedal into another reverse delay pedal? You would have a reverse halo effect.
Create singularity.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It would turn back to itself, wouldn't it?
Brad Guitar Miller says you do have a video assignment to do.
Oh.
If it's non-tundra outside, I'm not going outside until I have to, Brad. We shall see. We shall see. Right now, as of right now, I have to leave the house on Friday. More on that right now, in fact. So, got a message from my old bass player, Jeff. You saw him in the video. There was a couple times I'm like, and there was a bass player going right next to me. That's Jeff. And playing the Warlock bass, you may have noticed, Trev. Warlock bass.
Very nice.
Yes. So he hit me up and he said, hey, you still up for jamming? And I said, yes. And he said, I do not have skates hip. I have not actually skated since 1988. That's the last time I outgrew some skates. Didn't bother buying another pair because then I kind of liked hanging out inside. Staying warm more. But anyways, so yeah, he hit me up, and we're probably going to get together, assuming others are interested. Get together on Friday. Might
Nice.
Get together Friday, anyways, and just to go over and hang out.
Yeah.
So just up the
Hopefully
highway,
the
and
weather
then
is cleared up nice then.
oh yeah, the highway's fine here now. It's just a few of the secondary roads are still a little, but the highway's been fine since actually yesterday. The highway was back open because, after having none of the traffic for 2 days, there was all the traffic to offset that. Everyone's like, we can go now. There's a window of opportunity to get to Grandma's. Let's give her. We'll go between storm fronts. Been there.
Sure, that was a pleasant drive. Everybody in good spirits.
Yeah. I remember once we went to a wedding around this time of year, and I think, yes, I want to say smartphones did exist, yes. Or at least to the point where there was some form of weather app, maybe slightly but there was some forms of apps that were very basic. Because I want to say like maybe 2010, 2008.
That bridge between the phone and the Palm Pilot, right? When was the Palm Pilot? That was like,
That was the early 2000s.
right? 2005 maybe, before they were...
They did their tech support next to me at doing Dell tech support. Sure, we work for the actual company. That's what we're paid.
I was going to say, couldn't you have bought Palms through Dell anyways back in the day?
No. They had their own abomination that came out briefly and failed. Don't ask me the name of it. It was out for maybe 3 months. BlackBerry kind of killed the Palm Pilot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was like even like BlackBerries, you could get weather app. Like there was, because it was that hybrid thing going on. Mm-hmm. And so, anyways, we were at this way, and I was outside having a dart, and it just started to snow lightly. And I look, I'm like, oh, we're due for a couple inches. And I'm like, I came inside and said just loud enough that other cousins could kind of hear, that weren't necessarily having the best of times. It was, one, it was a dry wedding that took place early afternoon with a reception in the basement of the church. So, okay. And then that was right after speech time. I slipped out for a dart and checked the weather. And they're like, okay, let's move some of the tables back, Trev, because we're going to play games. And did I mention the MC was also still the minister? So I went drunk. So gee, look at did you know storm coming in? So immediately everyone that lived out of town, they're like, I did feel kind of bad for the parents, like my aunt and uncle, because the previous wedding of one of their siblings, they had another dry wedding at a winery. Typed because there's a little Airbnb wedding reception, because a lot of local wineries will have little reception halls for wedding receptions and stuff. And we're at I think maybe there was a single bottle of table wine. Yeah, I think there was, because wine's okay. But it was gone, and there was no refills available. And our table, gone. And so again, Ben slips out for a dart, because I'm one of the few smokers in the family. And I see cars pulling up over here. I'm like, is that another wedding going on, Trev? Well, let's just, you're outside, wander around. It's August, Wait a minute. That's a pub.
Yes.
I remember a couple hours later, the father of the bride coming into the pub and realizing there's most of his side of the reception. Yeah. And he's like, he thought most of us had already left, and he just came in to announce, well, the bride and groom are leaving, so you may want to show up for that, type thing. We're like, oh, all right, oh, sorry, yeah, I guess, should. Even then, it's 9:30 in the evening. I'm like, a good wedding reception is just getting rocking at that point. That's when, the young kids kind of thin out. Some of the seniors leave. Those that want to stick around and party a bit, they stick around, and then it's on at that point.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, I remember. What was it? We sat down as myself, my sister, and our others that were with us, and they're like ordering shooters and a drink.
Are we talking like China Whites and slippery nipple shooters? Or are we talking like Jack Daniels?
I don't. Yeah, some form of some crap, whatever. Right? Bunch of liqueurs, whatever, followed by whatever to drink. And they're like, well, you gotta have you gotta shoot something too. We'll have a toast. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, I'll have a shot of whiskey and blue. And the waitress, you could tell a lot of pretentious people. She's just like, I like your style. I'm like, yep. She's like, what kind of whiskey? I'm like, wet?
Something that doesn't come out of a gun.
Or it could. I'm fine with. I'd rather than your top shelf. Like I'm doing it in a shot anyways. I'm not savoring it. It can be gun whiskey. That's fine.
What else? That Fireball cinnamon whiskey, spicy shit. That stuff's terrible.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, then you're drinking cinnamon beer for the next half a beer, right?
That's gonna haunt you till the next day.
Yeah. So.
But a friend of mine used to like the Grand Marnier shots. Not cheap. They used to be really sweet.
Yeah, we used to offer those at a restaurant.
Your B-52s, right? With the GM, the Kahlua, and then the Baileys. Those,
yeah.
That makes a good coffee, actually. That's a really good.
Yes.
Yeah, so. Actually, I was surprised I haven't seen that uncle. He usually pops by at Christmas time. Although I did pass him on my way home the other day. He was driving, so he did try to stop by, and I wasn't home. Hey, Clive! Season's greetings to you, my friend.
Hey, Clive.
Sassy Cat as well. James Hawking. Yes, dry wedding at a winery. I know. Like, what the deuce? What the actual deuce?
Silly.
Well, I didn't realize at first either that it was at a winery, Terry, because the winery has one driveway, and then it's a driveway right next to it. One row of trees to separate. But then that they call it, oh, come to the Shire Meadows reception area for the whatever. I'm like, what pretentious piece of crap did you build out in the county? I'm like, it's a converted barn, and they're going to charge $12 for a beer. I just know it.
Shire, when
the
did we
hipsters have taken that over the last 20 years, Trav. The hipsters moved in. Well. And our friends of the Rainbow Flag Waving Nation, they first discovered the county because it's beautiful countryside, and then they took over, and there's antique shops, and not to stereotype, but they really did gentrify the place, and it looks great. And so for a while there, in the 2000s, 2010 range, you had this thing of basically rednecks and gay people. And it's like, wow. And I'm like, how's that working out? And they're like, grudgingly, I guess. But it's like, neither one associates with the other. And then once the gay people came in, then the hipster people came in from the city, and they loved the area. And guess what? They're buying buildings downtown, and I'm going to have an artisan cheese factory within the storefront. You know, the other guy's like, I'm going to have a hardware store and only have handmade nails. You know, and they all have fucking haircut, and you know, and they live upstairs. But meanwhile, they're fixing up all these buildings and paying taxes into the community, and it's great. So
Yeah.
then they're kind of like, oh, this is
Well,
kind of
allow
wonderful.
you to do it, but we
Meanwhile,
won't support you once you fail 6
Literally,
months later.
celebrities have known about the area for decades. Like, I knew when I was a kid, Bert and Lonnie had a cottage out there.
Right.
I was like, how would they even know that place existed, Trev? Because they would probably talk to someone like Dan Aykroyd, who's
Somebody told them.
within the area, and it's just like, because, well, you go out to Sandbanks, you know, like you saw Wave Babies, Honeymoon Suite video was shot there. You think it was in the Caribbean because it's 20-foot sand dunes and it looks wonderful. And Robert Urich had a place down there as well. Who else? Somebody else, and I can't think about. I know those ones just off the top of my head. You know, I'm like, those are like in the 80s, those are A-list celebrities.
Right. I heard there was some celebrities that owned little islands there at Lake of the Woods, in and around that Kenora area, because there's so many little islands in that lake.
Yeah.
It's so huge.
Or,
you could go on excursion for weeks and through
It's like out in your neck of the woods, Paul Rogers. He's lived, I want to say Kelowna. I want to say he lives.
Yeah.
No, wait, is Kelowna in?
Okanagan.
Yes. Is that what I'm thinking?
That's 4 hours east with me.
Yeah. It's not where it's like
It's
kind of
deserty
tropical.
there, right? They get winter, they get snow, they get winter. There's skiing,
Yeah.
and then in the summer it's very beachy on the Okanagan Lake, and there's Shuswap with the houseboats and stuff. But it's a cold lake, right? It's not really.
Yeah, he's lived out there for I don't know, 20 plus years. He's
Yeah,
Canadian
that does sound
citizen now.
nice.
Has been for a number of years as well. Hey,
He
Edwin.
was in White. I think he was in White Rock then. Paul Rogers. Now that you mention it, which would make more sense. That's very artsy, expensive. All the beach. That's just 2 blocks up from Seattle or from Washington State. That's where the border is. There, that
Mhm.
right the beachfront property there. It's nice.
Gotcha. Who did I see? Oh, Charles, 75N comments. I think I need another telly.
He said he
Well,
put it
now-
on a
now,
candy
see,
apple red
I
telephone.
should say, I'm going to pull the parental thing. Finish the tellies that you have before you get more. You know, it's like you can't have dessert till you finish dinner, Terry. Why don't you finish building the tellies you have, Terry, and then we'll talk about getting you another telly. So, on the other hand, snag on a deal, pick it up right away. And what's up, Cushman? Good to see you.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. Something like that, you really should limit how many projects you have rolling at a
I
time.
digress. It is the Okanagan, Ben. You're right. Paul Rogers, BC, Okanagan
Holy
Valley.
crap! That again, pulling out of orifices, Trev. In a way, I vaguely remember. Paul was talking about it either in an interview or when I saw him in concert. Between songs, he talked about it. Billy has a telly on his knee right now. Nice.
Nice.
You telling it a story? Yeah. Ryan Hall, Dan Aykroyd grew up 45 minutes east of me, down the highway. That's where he opened his first bar, the Mansion in Kingston, which really looks a lot like a House of Blues somehow, Trev.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coincidence?
And I do remember, I want to say, does it get more Canadian than seeing DOA in concert there? I use the term in concert loosely. Because concert to me, you really have to have 1,000 or more people for it to really be a concert.
Sure. Like a bar show.
Yep.
Club.
It'd still be a show, a gig. So I'm there, and Dan Aykroyd's brother comes up to me. Right? Well, 99. I think he looked exactly like Dan Aykroyd. So and he had the same voice. Like, so I'm like, either your brother, cousin, like, so, and he was acting like he knew me because I was hanging out near the gear and stuff. And I think he was trying to get in with the band, and I'm just like, I'm going to use you to get in with the band. What's up, Mark? Good to see you, my friend. So yeah, that was, he got me a drink. That was nice. So, and then my girlfriend came up to me afterwards. She's like, "Is that Dan Aykroyd's brother?" I went, "I think so." But yeah, DOA was a fun band to check out. I forgot how many other songs I knew. So I don't know if I actually owned any DOA albums, Trev, but I definitely, as part of the soundtrack growing up, like friends would play DOA, type thing.
It's part of the Canadiana thing. I mean, you kind of had to. We were forced to embrace stuff that was Canadian.
Right.
That whole CanCon rule brought us a lot of stuff that maybe wasn't at the same caliber as the waters they were meddling in, but they had to fill the airtime with something.
Sorry. Oh, Guitar Man 45 is back. Good.
Welcome back.
That's your judgment to how juiciness the previous talking was. Teenage Head.
Yep.
I want to say, were they out of Hamilton? As opposed to Toronto? I want to say Hamilton. Where's Doug Strong when we need him? Doug Strong had an automatic buy for missing last night, by the way, Trev. Doug, if you're watching on replay. Because he has the youngins. So, if he was lucky to still be awake by 8 p.m. last night, Trev, it would be a miracle.
Did you say...
that's on fan. Like, I don't have that energy level.
It was probably a really busy day there at his place.
Yeah. LRM says yes, Hamilton. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. If you said Teenage Head, yeah, they're out of Hamilton.
There you go.
1975 to present.
How about this? If you already know the answers to those in the chat, you can type in a Canadian band and ask us their hometown, and we will see if we'll guess first.
Where's this band from?
As we secretly keep Google open in a tab.
Nope, I need to using this. Let's see if I'm faster than Terry's fingers at Google. Terry's like, add, sponsor content, and I'm like, it's Peterborough, Ontario. Saga. Oh, well, Saga was kind of a super group.
Right.
But I would say they were based out of Vancouver. Would you not, Trev?
Would you? I couldn't tell you.
Really?
I know the name, but never was really a fan.
Origin Oakville.
Oakville?
1977.
How Oakville? Really? Oakville? Huh.
Yeah.
Sauga's short for Mississauga. I did not know that. Wow. Okay, fine. Black Crows, they're actually from Georgia. They're not Canadian. That'd
be kind of cool, though, if they were.
Boy, bought Quebec or Montreal?
Yeah, Montreal. Yeah, Chilliwack. I want to say Chilliwack.
Burnaby.
Frozen Ghost. Wow, I haven't heard that band name in a while.
Yeah. Okay, Lighthouse is technically, because we'd say it'd be Buzz's band, and Buzz was the drummer from day one. My aunt actually knew Buzz before he passed away. They would be Newmarket, Ontario.
Frozen Ghost. 85 through 93, Origin Toronto.
Okay, I wasn't sure on Frozen Ghost, to be honest with you. Fast City. I haven't heard of Fast City.
Fast City.
Ryan was just testing me. Yeah. Was not the Black Rose actually from Athens, Georgia? Along with REM, Ryan Hall. Arcade Fire, Montreal band, I do believe.
Yeah.
Is it impressive also, Billy, that I took my sister to see Lighthouse in concert? It was, and probably that was the best live show I've ever seen in my life, Trevor.
Wow.
Just for the Well, because Lighthouse, they're can't. For those who don't know, they're Canada's Chicago. It's the easiest comparison, right? Because they got all the instruments. They're a freaking 11-piece, and they were like the only time I could ever say, "Holy crap, was that ever a kick-ass flugelhorn solo?" Because they had a flugelhorn player, but it worked, and man, they were really, really, really good live. It was like just like the record. And again, they were one of those bands you're like, oh yeah, I know this song. Oh yeah, I know this. Oh yeah, I know this song. Saw them on Manitou, and wow, in the 70s. Cool. Edwin Crane says 20 miles from me, Black Crows. Atlanta, okay. Right. Red Rider. I want to say technically Sarnia, Ontario. They were a Sarnia band? No. Am I mixing them up with Kim Mitchell? Tom Cochran now lives in Belleville, here in town.
Red Rider, Origin, Toronto. 75 through 90 and 2002 through present.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's sort of like, bands are from LA. One of those
area.
Skinny Puppy, were they not from Edmonton, Trev?
I think so.
I want to say Skinny Puppy was from Edmonton. Metric. Oh, I know of them.
Oh,
yeah.
correction.
East Coast.
82 through 96, 2003 to present, Origin, Vancouver.
Who?
For Skinny
Red Rider?
Puppy.
Oh, Skinny Puppy.
Really?
Well, see, here it even says Chilliwack is from Vancouver.
Yeah.
Well, because I think at that time, again, everybody had
All the
relocated.
studios are downtown.
Yeah, exactly. And like everybody else, you lived downtown too. Martha and the Muffins, were they not a Toronto band? Metric, though. Metric. I want to say Metric's from Ottawa. Am I correct, Michael Crows?
Muffins, Origin, Toronto.
I think I'm still batting above 500 here. Look up Metric, Terry. Are they? Yeah. Metric, where are they from?
Toronto.
Toronto? Okay, so it wasn't Ottawa. Okay.
I mean, we're just looking at the quick facts. If you read into it, it might be, well, this person was from Oshawa, and then this person was from Belleville.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you if anyone outside of Ontario was asked, essentially, where's 741 from? They'll say Toronto. They're like, no, Ajax. Rainbow Butt Monkeys are from Hamilton, also known as Finger 11. Sloan was from Halifax? Or I'll say was, because half the band lives in Toronto now. Because given the option, where would you rather live, Trevor? Toronto? Fucking Halifax. Just saying.
Interesting.
Right.
Burlington for Rainbow Butt Monkeys.
Yeah, that's right next door to Hamilton. You've heard me bad Doug Strong about that. I'm like, he's like, well, Burlington. I'm like, same thing. He's like, it's not the same thing. I'm like, okay, there's a fucking hill between them.
Yep, Gordon Lake.
It's like you'll get under Doug's skin when you say Kitchener and Waterloo are the same thing. They're not. They've been hyphenated for 40 years as the Kitchener and Waterloo region.
That's true.
It's like Minneapolis, St. Paul. Same thing. No, it's not. It fucking is. Your towns have amalgamated right next to each other. But yes, Sloan's from Halifax. Gordon Lightfoot, yes, from Canada.
Gordon Lightfoot is from Aurelia.
Richmond Hill. Aurelia.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, they got the fucking sign. That's right. They got the fucking sign.
Yeah.
But even then, probably when he was getting big, he would say, I'm from Toronto, because he was part of the Yorkville scene. I don't know Sugar Jones, Charles. The Mina Birds. Oh. That. Oh. Not sure. That's old. That's old. Bare Naked Ladies are from Scarborough.
Yeah.
Feist Vancouver act, Trev?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or, or immigrated to Vancouver and then broke big,
For the scene, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the Mayan birds are from Toronto,
Yes.
64 to 67.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Jay Steen, what's up? Big Sugar, Vancouver band, right?
Are they?
I believe so.
Oh,
I think the Big Sugar was from...
I thought they were from your neck of the woods.
Yes,
Toronto.
Toronto was from Toronto. Yes, that's cat.
Toronto. Big Sugar's Toronto.
She's from Calgary. Okay. But I was going to say there's no Calgary music scene. And then there was Chad Kroger. And then there was a Calgary music scene.
And they weren't even from Calgary. I mean, they were from like Airdrie or some tiny little grainfield town.
Right. But they're sick of telling every Canadian bar audience, we're from here. They're where the fuck's that? And they're like, we're in Alberta already. You folks should know. They're like, nope. Katie Lang was from Calgary, was she not?
Actually, you're close.
Red Deer?
You're very close.
I don't know then. Red Deer? I only know 3 towns in
Lethbridge,
Edmonton.
Medicine Hat.
No, in Alberta.
Okay.
Where
Where?
I said you're very close to the other place where she's from.
Where then?
Edmonton.
Okay.
That's not close.
Well, is when
Four hours.
I was like,
major.
I'm like, Red Deer? Like you said, Lethbridge? All points in between? Anne Murray?
Wasn't she from the Fort
Was she from Sydney? Well, let's say Greater Sydney area. Nova Scotia. Saskatchewan. Because there's story. Dad, I think, saw her, met her as a child, possibly. Leonard Cohen is Montreal.
Says Anne Murray's origin was Toronto.
She wasn't. She grew up on the coast, moved to Toronto.
And it says here, according to this other thing, Spring Hill?
Stompa Thomas from Skinner's Pond, PEI.
Spring Hill, Nova Scotia.
There you go.
Shania was Alberta, wasn't she?
Shania is Northern Ontario.
Yep.
Was she?
Like Cochrane or something like that. Way the fuck up north. Helix is Kitchener or Waterloo.
Those guys
BTO is hard to say because Randy Bachman's from Winnipeg. I don't know if he went back to Winnipeg to form the band or not, or was BTO actually formed out in Vancouver with Fred Turner? Again, not sure on that one.
Between Timmins and Windsor.
Timmins. That's it.
Yep.
I knew it was up north.
They say Winnipeg for BTO.
Okay. Quite possible. I didn't know if Randy had relocated out west by that point,
Right.
Well, that was interesting. Guess who's Winnipeg? And Neil Young will tell you he's either from Winnipeg or Toronto, depending on who he's talking to.
Yeah. According to this Bachman Turner Overdrive is Winnipeg 73.
What's up, brother Tom? Lenny Bro. I cannot remember where Lenny's from. Toronto, I want to say. Or ended up in Toronto. Stonebolt. Not familiar with Stonebolt. But I could rattle off a bunch more if you want.
Canadian-American guitarist.
Paul Schaefer, is he not? He's from one of the bays, Thunder Bay, North Bay, Thunder Bay. I want to say Thunder Bay. He's up north too. He's from up north.
Yeah.
Joey Landreth is Winnipeg.
Well, according to the person that Tom asked about, born in Auburn, Maine.
Okay. Glass Tigers, Newmarket. Oh, just like that. Because I remember that back in the day. I'm like, Newmarket? Really? I have family there. What's up, Dave? That's right. 2 days in a row. Hank Snow is from Nova Scotia. I'm not sure if it was Halifax or in and around there. What's up, Randy?
Your guess on Paul Schaefer was pretty correct, Ben. North Bay.
Was it North Bay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he always says he's from the far north. That's mid north at best. That's barely. That's at the bottom of the fuck. What the fuck, Paul? I suppose compared
North
to
Bay is 16-hour drive from me, so
Boner Jams. When
Hey,
we
Boner.
drop tuning guitars and busting out some menacing riffs, Happy New Year, everyone. Brian Adams was kind of all over. He was a bass brat, Brian Hall. I'll say Vancouver, basically. Because when he got into music, by that point, he was out in Vancouver. Because who did he start out with, Trev? Sweeney Todd. One of the last iterations of Sweeney Todd, he was their singer as like a 16-year-old. Yeah. Platinum Blonde, Toronto band. I think, again, possibly even Scarborough.
Brian Adams, believe it or not, Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
Again, but born but not from. Because I think by the age of 3, he was already left Kingston age of 2 or 3 type thing. Because his dad was either in the military or military adjacent, some government thing. Because he lived in England for part of the time growing up. That's why he ended up going back to England. And he's lived there forever. Loverboy's Vancouver, right, Trev?
Yeah.
Steve Anderson! What's up?
North Vancouver, to be specific, I think.
Okay.
Hey, Steve Anderson.
It's raining on the southern tip of Vancouver Island.
Ew.
Avril Lavigne? Really, Mayhem? He says Avril Lavigne. Napanee, Ontario. Trev, if you want to hear all the Avril Lavigne stories in the world, we should have Mayhem on again sometime. Because he can give them all to you. Family, friends.
Yeah.
He basically knew her entire life. Kim Mitchell, Sarnia. And then
He's actually
relocated
overdue
to
to
Toronto.
come on. Absolute mayhem, yeah.
He's always a blast. Colin James.
David Stratford.
Colin James. He's from... Ooh. I know
Your
out
side.
west.
I thought he was your side.
I was thinking he's somewhere between Winnipeg and Gatto is Scarborough.
You know,
I bet Greg got it. Actually, Terry, near the front of the music video, there's a guy that looks like I'm staying with Paul Reed Smith. That's not Paul Reed Smith. That's Greg Godovich from the Gatto band.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And one of the things you said, you were close. Believe it or not, Regina.
Colin James?
Finally, Saskatchewan gets on the
James.
board.
Well, I was waiting for someone to bring up the Northern
Took
Pike,
half an hour.
right?
Oh, yeah, Northern Pike.
Because they're from, what, Saskatoon?
Yeah.
I just remember the story what Colin James, when he was just like his first hit had hit Voodoo Thang. And everyone's like, oh, this is kind of SRV-esque, but that's okay because that was the vein. And he was saying how he was playing a bar gig one night out west, like Edmonton, Calgary, something like that. And he had broke a string on stage, and Steve Ray Vaughan was watching. And Colin didn't have a backup guitar, so Stevie told whomever to go out to the bus, grab his guitar, bring it in so Colin could finish the rest of the set playing Stevie's guitar. And he's just like, handing the guitar, he's like, holy crap, that's, it's like Stevie Ray Vaughan's fucking guitar.
Wow.
Now, from what I understand, that would be an interesting guitar to play. Didn't he play like crazy strings and?
Yeah, like 13s.
Right?
Yeah. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, but
basically
being a
played bass
disciple of him,
strings.
Colin probably did too. Probably.
True.
Okay, so we got a bunch of here. Super Dave Osborne. I want to say Ottawa. He was born in. Joni Mitchell. Joni's from out west, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg,
I want to say she. I think she was part of that. Hey, Jason Lindholm. Weekend. Who cares? Mayhem. No idea. Pam Anderson's Vancouver. Pursuit of Happiness.
She's from the island. She was from the island. She is like Ladysmith or something.
Oh.
She got discovered at a BC Lions game.
Oh.
And then she became a Bat Blue girl. She was one of those beer posters.
Yeah.
And she looked way hotter than she did after she underwent a bunch of procedures and stuff.
Super Dave Osborne, Bob Einstein, born November 20th, 1942, L.A., California.
Really? Born in L.A. But yet...
Meanwhile, yeah, we always thought of him as a Canadian.
Yeah, it could have been a travel thing or work thing. You know, parents working in LA. All right, so I paused the chat. So Pursuit of Happiness, depending on who you talk to, Edmonton or Kingston. I'm going to say Kingston these days for the fact that 2 of the band members live in Kingston, Terry. And Mo Berg lives in Toronto. So they're basically an Ontario band. I don't know where they're actually billed from. Alanis Morissette would be Ottawa, Ontario. Celine Dion's Montreal. Drake, who cares? He's not a musician. Canucks with guitars, mayhem. Come on now.
Yeah.
Friend John Rubin sued Avril, but personally, I would always thought it was something to Mick Jagger. Sure. Let's see.
Edmonton seems to be the consensus for Pursuit.
Yeah. Again, though, I think Mo. I think they were bass brats again, Trev. That's how Kingston, right? That's where because when I saw them in Kingston, they're like, yeah, this is basically a hometown gig because 2 of our moms are here, and they were there. And I'm just like, that's weird. And
Originally,
I was just like, wow, even rock stars have their moms in the crowd, Trev. That's cool.
Relocated to Toronto in '85.
Right. Paul Anka is Ottawa. What got unboxed? Nothing. Nothing, Seth. Good to see you. Presley, California Customs. Yes, so Lenny Bro is technically Canadian. I would say too, Tom, because he grew up in Moncton. Let's see here. Yes, Ryan Hall. For those who don't know, during Avril's recording of her first album, due to age, she had to be supervised by an adult at all times, and her parents had used up their vacation time. So Mayhem's parents went down and babysat her in New York, basically, for her to continue recording her first album, to make that possible. So,
Chaperone?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Where was the late Ronnie Hawkins from? Well, originally he's from Arkansas. Helena, I do believe.
Huntsville, Arkansas.
But he lived in Lakefield forever and a day, which is outside of Peterborough.
Yeah.
Forever he lived there. Rush, Scarborough, basically. / St. Catharines, because Neil's from St. Catharines.
Autograph is actually a band originating from Pasadena, California.
Yep.
There you go.
Who guessed the autograph? No. Oh, I see Jason Lindholm. Yeah. No, actually, they weren't really a band per se, Terry. They were a bunch of guys that played in other bands, and that was a side project, and they went into the studio with some material and recorded it, and their singer gave it to Dave Lee Roth because they were friends. He's like, you got to come out and open for us on tour. And they're like, I guess we got to put a band together. And there was like, some of them had existing record deals, and so they had to, it was largely a manufactured band in many ways. Steve Lynch.
Yep.
Did I interview him, or was I just moderating that interview? But that's how I knew all that. But Steve and I are friends on Facebook. I was going to reach out to Steve to come on. But he's not really playing anymore. Old and Nova's Montreal.
Montreal, yeah.
Yeah. Cowboy Junkies were from out west. I think they might be another Saskatchewan band, in fact.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Any bands that come out of Saskatchewan here in Canada instantly get pushed in public.
No, for sure, but Pat Travers has been based out of Vancouver for a long time. April Wine was originally Nova Scotia, but relocated to Montreal once they... basically to establish themselves. Halifax, then Montreal, so they'll call both. Schmengi Brothers, let's say technically Scarborough, because that's where the CTV studios were.
Exactly.
Do we have any other? We'll move on. This has been a cool topic. We probably just burned like 15, 20 minutes.
Patreons.
Yeah, let's shout out the patrons from the Patreon. You too can become a patron on the Patreon by clicking the link down below in the video description or searching my name on the website, and you get a shout out as part of the thanks each and every week. Thanks. Want to shout out Charles75N, unfucking believable, Charles Green, Gear Junkie 35, Symmetry, Grumpy Mike Guitar, Jeff K, Bent Tom, John ZD351, JP Page 2, Ferd Burful, Other Left, Paul McNary, Keith H, Blackjack Guitar, Fruitcake Tony, Mohogany, Randy Crooks, Doug Strong, Cousin Todd Flowers, Guitar Man 45, T Ricky, and LRM Guitars. Thank you, one and all, for your continued support. Appreciate it.
Which also includes an invitation to the Zoom hangs.
Yes, twice a month. They're always fun and entertaining. If nothing else, to watch Charles 75 and have a meltdown.
Tom.
You get to put faces to names.
Bootstrap pickups.
That does ring a bell somewhere deep in the cranial activities, but yeah, not really familiar. April Wine, did they make any more albums than 2 to 3? Yes, Ryan, they made about 15.
There's a lot of good tunes in them there hills.
Yeah, they had basically a 15-year run, took a break, and then came back for a few years in the late 80s, early 90s, which was But yeah, like starting with Sign of the Gypsy Queen, that sounds quite 60s, right up through Say Hello, which is total 70s, and I Wanna Rock, and Enough is Enough is well into the 80s. You know, yeah. Oof. Yeah, there's tons. Oh, there's so much deep material there,
Can't
too.
say I have, absolutely.
Then there's all their ballads. They had so many ballads. Oh.
One for the Money, was that them? One Money?
2 for the Show? No, that was Trooper.
Is it? No, okay.
Where's Trooper from? They're a Vancouver band as well, I think. Roller, great song. She's a roller. I roll a baby. She is Yeah. Now I got that stuck in my head. Perfect.
I laugh because Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys, he's like, who the F's Rush? Says April Wine's the best band. And his crappy car,
yeah, like If You See K. Beautiful song. Beautiful. Totally not like Roller. Anyway.
Yeah.
There's PTM Guitars. Enough's from near you. Nice. I think Aaron from Elvis Band is near you as well. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
He's in. Jason's in Illinois as well, I believe. I don't know where in Illinois exactly, but Aaron's like a half hour outside of Chicago, give or take.
Penny Black.
That's gotta be Toronto.
Penny Black would be a Toronto band. A Toronto studio band. I don't know if they ever actually performed live as Penny Black or not. Terry's like, who's Penny Black? And all of a sudden, oh! Yeah. The question is, can Ben find his Penny Black CD before Terry can look him up?
Or before I clue in to realize it's Dave's band.
Well, Terry, actually, let's be honest. It's an all-star band because you do have the mighty Dave Rioma on bass, but you also have the mighty Gino Scarpelli on guitar from the Gatto Band. See how that comes around. And then, of course, you got Russ Graham, a.k.a. Russ Dwarf, from the Killer Dwarfs, singing. It's good. It's a good album, folks. I'm just saying, when Dave's shucking these on the videos and stuff, if you like 80s rock, you know, it's kind of the Lost Dwarves album in a way, you know, because it does have that vocal styling, but it's a little mellower than the Dwarves. But yeah, it's good stuff. Well, speaking of which, oh, look at that. Daryl Miller from the Killer Dwarfs played drums on the track. Imagine that. Just saying.
Scout Music Group.
Fox Lake Studios in Aurora.
That's a different one. At least I think it's a different one.
And they actually have the lyrics to the songs inside the CD, just saying. Yes, of course, Russ singing. Oh, sorry, not of course, Hip, but because Russ does play guitar as well. But yes, Russ is singing. Plano, Illinois, a.k.a. Smallville from the movie Man of Steel. Nice.
Apparently there's a band of a similar name from...
Yeah, Mr. Anderson's from that area, too.
Oh, actually, no. St. John. Strange.
So, we have any other questions going on tonight? We got 48 people watching. Please leave a thumbs up if you haven't already, and please subscribe if you're new and watching for the first time. Or if you're watching for, like, a returning viewer and you still haven't subscribed, mazel. You've returned, so just saying.
Jeebus, Mark Taft. That's a lot of MGs.
Nice. So it's 100 per. Okay.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I gotta find me some of those.
I know where he went. Hit Metalworth says I'd like to do Stand Tall live. Yeah. Dirty Weapons. That'd be another great track to play live. I always like that song.
So
And of course, Keep
you
the
don't
Spirit
see
Alive.
On the chat for StreamYard, it doesn't come up when a member does a membership chat, does it?
No.
No. A milestone message? No.
Yeah.
Why? Did somebody I missed?
Yeah. PTM Guitars
PT.
says check out our new Tesi Switch plate and wiring harness.
Yes, that's right. He posted that, I think, to Instagram recently.
Oh, and Ben Tom put something up too. Daddy is high.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing.
Well, I was wondering because you said something about Tom, and I'm like, what? He seems to be behaving. Oh, okay.
Did you manage to get into all those boxes? You need yourself a good box opening knife, Tom.
Well, he's got a Rubbermaid container full of various extracts and particulates, and I don't know. Looks like science, and I don't know.
State of the
Aurora, Illinois, home to Wayne Campbell. That's how I know Aurora, Illinois. That's the scene of Wayne's World.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Which
I'm guessing Aurora, Illinois looks a lot like Scarborough, Ontario. Just saying.
Aurora, Ontario, yeah. Scarborough.
Where did they film Bob and Doug movie?
I want to say in and around Toronto. Yeah, because there's a lot of landmarks, like the one scene. They're obviously on the Toronto Island looking across because you got the Toronto the waterfront skyline. I'm like, there's only one way you're going to get that shot. I'm like, why did they drive the van to Toronto Island? They took a ferry.
Right. Just product placement. CN Tower paid a lot of money for that.
Yep. Sassy Cat. Stan Makita Donuts.
Stan Makita Donuts. Yeah. Not affiliated with Tim Hortons Donuts or Eddie Shack Donuts in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, can I get a slap shot donut?
Hey, when I lived in Kitchener, I'd go to Eddie Shack Donuts. I didn't go to Tim Hortons. Given the option, I went to a different Leaf alumni's donut shop.
Go to the place where the mustache rules.
Oh, coffee's mustache filtered. Good. Now with more mustache wax.
Oh, God.
Stand Tall, that's the movie, as opposed to the song, which was around 1986. Stand tall, stick to your gun. Remember the video? They're all making their own albums and stuff, and then they just wrap a bunch of saran wrap around it and stick it in the microwave. All of a sudden, made it from a hand-drawn album cover to the actual album cover.
Oh, jeez.
It was great. It was great. Anyone, check out the Stand Tall music video. It's hilarious. That was one thing. They did really good music. I don't know who did their music videos, Trev, but they looked just as legit as any American music video. And for those who wonder, what do you mean by that, Ben? Well, growing up, we could tell when things were shot in Canada as opposed to the U.S. Sort of like, you'd be watching the movie channel on PTV, Trev. A movie comes on, and immediately within the 30 seconds, you're like, this was clearly shot in Canada. It's darker.
Cinematography to it. It's just
yeah. You Americans would watch it like, oh, this is a quality indie film, because even our big budget were greatly indie films. Nowadays, you can't tell the difference. Or as opposed to American films up and shooting in Canada, and you can't tell the difference because they use the American equipment, which we now have all had in Canada since the 90s. That's when it started to change. 21 Jump Street was the first change. We're like, it looks American, but it's Canadian.
Made here in town. Downtown Vancouver.
Yep, when they opened that first soundstage studio down there, that was the start of the big...
Yeah. Well, and then there's like the Stargate.
Get in on that.
They made it pretty nice. Stargate was one of those shows that went from the 4x3 format into the 16x9 format. It kind of like Family Guy, Simpsons, all those shows you can see. You tell the older episodes because they're still 4x3 unless they're cropped.
Keith H, the Hallmark Channel. Oh my god.
Well, I think half of the movies on the Hallmark Channel are shot in North Bay at that movie studio. By
like Hardcore Logo. That movie looks Canadian.
X-Files was in Vancouver. Yep.
Of course, the whole Trailer Park Boys is up there.
Fun fact, James Hawking, if you want the story about April Wine live at the Elmo Combo, we can tell that. That's like a 3-minute story. So, you wonder, oh, that was a cool live album. Sounds really good, Trev. April Wine live at the Elmo.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that. You may also recall another live album from the Elmo Combo, and I'm not talking Stu Ray Vaughan live at the Elmo Combo, which is another great live album from the Elmo Combo. But you may recall the Rolling Stones live from the Elmo Combo. Okay. Now, again, we're Canadian. It's very DIY, right? We're on a budget. So what we got... Who was the opening band for Rolling Stones that night? Well, it happened to be April Wine. So Miles Goodwin, the singer, went down the street, bought some half-inch tape, because they had the Rolling Stones mobile recording studio parked out on the street with all the cables running in and all the infrastructure set up to record the Stones set. And he said, Mazel, y'all want to record our set too? And they said, sure. Mazel, everything's set up.
Right.
So he basically got a free live album out of the deal. And then he went to the record company, and they're like, we need an album. He's like, here you go. And they're like, where'd that come from? Like, played a gig last week. It turned out pretty good. And like, wow, this sounds great. Actually, the Stones mobile recording studio is now at a museum somewhere in Canada.
You don't say.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Or the road trip.
It might be closer than you think. It could be in Vancouver. Vancouver, Calgary, or Edmonton. It's out west. Somehow it ended up... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it ended up in a museum or at a university or... I don't know what the deal is. I could be wrong. But it was used for a lot of stuff. They got a lot of use of it. They would ship it around.
Calgary.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I thought I seen something mention of Calgary here.
Came up in the search.
Zeppelin used it when they would record in a fucking castle. They just used the Stones truck.
You got to think it's a pretty well outfitted place.
Oh yeah, you just run the trunk lines out the doors, and here you go. That's it.
It says here acquired
vintage gear.
Just a control room on wheels.
NMC in 01. RSM has since been restored, is now parked next to the King Eddie stage.
Where's that?
I have no idea where that is. That doesn't mean anything to me. Well, I assume it's short for King Edward. I don't know.
I'm just trying to look here. It's apparently a historic live music venue.
Well, I thought that makes sense because I figured it's some kind of museum.
Studio Bell.
National Music Center in Calgary. There you go.
Yep.
JP page 2. Just search Killer Dwarfs, and that's with an F. Dwarfs, it's like just Toronto Maple Leafs. That's where I assume they got it. They're from Oshawa. Killer Dwarfs, stand tall. So
That's definitely interesting, though. The Rolling Stones' actual mobile studio ends up in Calgary.
Right.
You would have
Yep.
figured it would have been in the States, or even back in England, even.
I guess
Well, I'm just wondering when it went up for auction, what continent was it on already, right? Because the shipping would be.
Yeah, that's true too.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Boxing Day to you as well, smallmouth guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
a few more
construction
minutes
started
here.
in 2013, founded in 2016. A lot of oil money in Alberta at that time. So,
Yeah.
you know, if they put it up for
Yeah.
bids and said, "Who wants to open a National Music Center?" and Alberta come to the
Well,
table and said,
like-
"Look what we got.
Like Bill Gates with his Hendrix Museum, right?
We'll build you a really nice place."
You know, you're flush with coin, so you build. That was like I can't remember the exact time. I want to say again about 10 years ago. I had heard guy came into some money, made rich and whatever. Liked to play guitar. Always dreamed of going out on tour. So he financed a tour, whatever amount of shows, let's say a dozen shows or more,
Mm-hmm.
with a fairly well-known band that he liked, hired them to headline the tour, and his band opened for them. And the crowds are going like, "Who are these guys? Why are they opening,
Right.
for Tool and type thing?" And because he's financing, he's the one that's writing the check, underwriting the whole tour. Yeah, I thought that's awesome.
yeah, that is pretty cool, actually.
Burton Cummings Stand Tall was a big hit, Jim. I'm not
Yeah.
going to lie. That was a big hit. Because that was around the same time as These Eyes.
These eyes
reaching for the
keep
dial.
smiling.
Yeah, that's like as soon as Dave Wilcox is about to try to take me on a riverboat fantasy, I'm like, I don't think so, Bubbaloo. That's a backwater nightmare. That's what that is. What's up, Tea Cake?
Hey,
Good to
Tony.
see you.
Tony?
How's laundry going? I hope you have power. I assume you have power. Oh, I
Is
see.
that
Burning
how
stuff.
Johnny Depp went on tour?
It's possible, Charles. It's possible. I'm
I
going to
don't
put
know,
together the
that's-
coolest band ever. I'm going to have Alice Cooper singing. I'm going to have Joe Perry in it. Okay. Give her.
Well, the interesting part about that is that, in actuality, he actually shows some promise as a musician. He's not the greatest. He's not
I
the
hope
greatest
so. He's been
singer,
playing guitar for
but-
30 years. He's
Yeah,
been playing guitar for
exactly.
30 years. I would like to think he's a competent musician after 30 years of playing.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I remember him playing during the Jump Street days. He played guitar. Not well.
Yes, you're right.
Necessarily, but I remember him strumming a few chords. It was something like Entertainment Tonight. Oh, let's meet the cast. And he's sitting there in his dressing room strumming on a guitar or something like that. They're like, oh, you play guitar too? Oh, it's not just wonderful. It's like he played more than words. It's not that complicated. It was a G
Is
chord.
that Erica M? Is that your impersonation of Erica M?
Well, it would be the Hollywood-esque version, right? That's all impressed with shit like that. Erica M would be you played a fucking G chord. You want a slow clap? Come on. You're like, I'm interviewing Clapton after this. Now he knows how to fucking play.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be whoever the Mary
Entertainment
Hart
Tonight
at the time
Perkins.
was.
And Mulrooney.
John Pett.
John Dash.
You want to hear me play piano? No. I could play the best elevator music in the world. I know. I don't want to hear it. Does it get any more white bread than a John Tesh album being played on the stereo? No.
Oh, God.
Don't even know how that could make it in the house.
Oh. That's the father who relaxes wearing the cardigan with the shirt and tie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the casual wear. Oh, you're wearing the casual tie. Yep. Let me guess, you're going to spend your evening listening to John Tesh, smoking your pipe, sitting by the fire? Thought so. Yep. Okay, fine. On that note, any last questions, folks? Get them in now, and then we're going to hit the road, and we'll see y'all next year. And
Yep.
doing a group hang on New Year's Day, and then keep, depending on how much arthritis you have there, keep them crossed for possibly 1 week from tonight. We'll have Pete Thorne joining us
Yes, that'll
for
be
some
awesome.
live Q&A. And then we'll talk about Pete's upcoming tour and doing YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
We had a Prime Minister that played piano and did bad John Lennon covers.
God.
It's like listening to John Tesh play Imagine. No soul. No soul. I'm just saying. Anywho's. Let's see what else we got going on here.
I think that's pretty much
Got me
it.
by 6 months. Nice. What else we have going on? Soda pop tasting coming out this week. Fago grape. Yep.
Oh, that's good. Great.
If you paid attention during the last Zoom call, I was sipping on it because I shot it before the last Zoom call. Because I figure, it's the big bottles, and those Zoom calls go a few hours, so I had all the sugar to keep up.
Most days.
Yeah, true.
And then Friday, I'm not sure what's coming up on Friday yet. I don't know yet. Tastes like purple. Yep. Yep. Have we decided the year of the what yet? That's a good question. All right. So far, the leading candidate is the year of the octave.
Mm-hmm.
Although, this year started off as the year of the flanger, and then it got derailed by the year of the Dodd. So we could try to resurrect, because I still am in need of a new flanger. So Ben could go off in search of flangers. You don't see a lot of them used in the wild either, so that could be a expensive one.
My God, I just thought about that. The Ned Flanders.
The next
flanger.
What's that?
The Ned Flanders flanger. That would be
the Flanders flange. Yes, complete with green sweater vest. Stereo flanger. I have a stereo flanger. Don't really care for it. It was a Dodd, though. That's probably why. Next Zoom hang will be Charles. I see ya. Saturday, January the 7th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Also, for patrons and channel members, if I get around to it, I'll try to get it a year-end exclusive video for y'all, including this year's blooper reels, which is a lot of... Is this on? Is this on? Is this on? I don't know. It's going to be about 14 minutes of that, Trev. I'm pretty sure that's all the outtakes I kept on my phone. So we'll see. It's been another cool year. And we might even have an unboxing this week. Probably not. So, why do you check tracking numbers when the whole world is shut down? That's what I want to understand.
Everything's frozen.
Every day I open it up, I'm like, I don't know why I'm checking that. The airport's not open. It's not taking anything in. That would be awesome, Buzz, to hit 100K. Is there that many of us out there willing to put up with this chicanery on a weekly basis? We shall see. Spread the word. That's all I can say. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Start promoting if they want that to happen next year.
Yeah, we need major people to want to be part of this situation over here. Also, yeah, I'm looking at coming up, well, possibly starting 1 week from tonight, is the occasional Monday night hang where Sundays aren't available for certain musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or, and it could even be like, who knows, maybe, because I do reach out to certain guests and they're like, Sunday's family day. And I'm like, I get it, because they're busy the other 6 days of the week. So maybe we can get one of them on for a Monday hang. I'm looking at you, Phil McKnight. Anyways, we'll see. We shall see. And on that note, yeah, we've Sascat said, we've been us, y'all been y'all. And hold those doors open.
Stay safe and
I don't know. Let's see, who are we gonna let? Who
let other people in and try.
Patrick Trey says, what, you don't have a Dodd flanger? I do. I have a Dodd stereo flanger, in fact. Didn't care for it. It might be going down the road. But not until next year, because it's still the year of the Dodd. I cannot get rid of it before Sunday. Tune on next Sunday show, there's no Dodds. They're all gone. Where'd all the Dodds go? It's no longer the year of the Dodd. Yeah. So, yeah, who we're going to let Ryan Hall in ahead of you in traffic, because he's commuting between Tennessee and Alabama.
A lot of miles.
Yeah, all the miles. Let's let him do his thing. Be good to each other. Happy tone chasing. And, I got to get that adapter, too, so I can start doing demos. That's right. I'm going to have to go out of the house. Dang it!
Yeah.
That's fine. So, yeah. And I won't see you later. I'll see you if you make content. If not, you will see me when I make content, because that's how it works. What are we gonna hit there this time? I don't know. We did that one last night. I don't know. That one got a copyright. I didn't like that. And we'll just do the same as the intro.
New Year's Day.
We'll scream, because that seems Christmassy. What's that? Well, when you go out, yeah, I'll try to remember, Brad. I'll try. Yep. Don't litter.
Cheers.
All the screams.
Why do you scream at me? Why do you think that it's free? It's not a choice made by me. Once we fall